first half. Well, things for them, just to put it bluntly, man, it has been tough sledding here in the first half, facing that big deficit. The clock is dwindling now. Maybe if they can get something on the board here before intermission, they'll have at least a little momentum heading into the second half. Packer pressure, and down he goes. And Washington now going to use the first of their 3 timeouts to try again after the sack. Wentz. And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. Now another timeout called for by the offense as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. A handoff running left is Gibson. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. Now, during that run, an injury here. We got one of those big blockers in some discomfort. Well, the medical staff is going to come out here and take a look, and we will take a short break. The Packers bringing in an extra member of the secondary here to try for the 3rd down stop. Here's Wentz to throw. Eluding the pressure right. He's got a man complete. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. So we've come to halftime here with the visiting Packers out on top. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. A lot to get to here as some of the division races starting to take shape as we look around the NFL here in week number 7. We begin with a battle of 2 teams more associated with Thanksgiving Day, really. Detroit heading south to take on Dallas. And it's the Lions who are out in front as they play the second quarter. The Lions trying to gut this one out as it would be a good victory for them if they could get it. Next, we're off to Baltimore to check on the Ravens at home at M&T Bank Stadium. And for the moment, they trail the visiting Browns in that one. Deshaun Watson, responsible for the lone touchdown in the game thus far as he's thrown a touchdown pass. Lastly, let's get you to Charlotte, North Carolina. Check on the Panthers at home at Bank of America Stadium. And you can see they trail in that matchup against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Leonard Fournette with 2 touchdown runs. And on now to a check on the next-gen stats in that first half for the Packers. And it's been the passing game that's been the story. They have feasted on this secondary to the tune of 200-plus yards already through 2 quarters. Meanwhile, for Washington, they too were able to take advantage of a soft secondary as both of these 2 teams really threw the ball at will in that first half.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. So it's the Packers set to receive the kick. They've got the lead as well as we are underway in the 3rd quarter. And no fireworks to start the half. This will be a touchback. And the Packers ready to go to start quarter number 3. Well, it's hard to imagine the first half going any better for them, CD. And now here as they begin their first series of the second half. I mean, they score here. This one, it's pretty much out of reach.
We honestly might already be at that point, partner, because this team, they were dominant in the first half, continue to be dominant now, and I think they're viewing this as a put-away drive on their way to a lopsided victory.
Throw right side. This is into the hands of the tight end, Tunyon. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5.
I know sometimes we can get fooled when we watch him make catches, as we just saw him do there, because he really looks like a wide receiver the way he goes about his business.
Yeah, 230, 240 range.
Yeah, not super huge. Maybe not counted on to be that inline point-of-attack blocker that we used to have in the good old days. But you can flex him out. You can run wide receiver routes with him. You can make him a primary target, and that's how he'll shred a defense.
And he is going to have a Packers first down by about a yard as they find a way to convert there on 3rd down and 5.
Well, they certainly had success throughout this contest, getting him the ball in the passing game, and there he picks up another first down. Whatever they saw going into this one, they've been able to capitalize on it, and no adjustment has been made to take it away.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Rodgers with a give. It's Aaron Jones. And he'll manage to pick up about 4. It's 2nd down. From the 40 now on second down. Rodgers, sideline throw, it's complete. And a nice job there of keeping the toes in bounds. He's been a busy man here in this one, and they're showing off some nice footwork to stay in bounds.
And with those types of catches and the volume that we've seen in this game, wouldn't you keep him busy as well?
I would.
Of course. You got to keep throwing it to him. He keeps making plays.
They'll try and run for the first with Dillon. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. That'll go as a pickup of 8.
Most of their damage has been done through the air. I mean, they've rung the bell 3 times with passing touchdowns. But guess what? Ground game has not been neglected. Nice little burst right there.
In Washington territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 46. Rodgers going to throw. Open man. He completes it to Judy. And he'll be taken down here just shy of the 30. Whatever the discussions were to slow down this offense, it has not worked to this point.
Yeah, I have a vision right now of everything that was discussed at the half just being torn in shreds or being erased off of the Microsoft Surface tablets because none of it is working. They are really locked in on offense.
On 1st and 10, here's Rodgers. Caught by Cobb. He'll be dropped at the 25 after a gain of 6. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of until they stop him, why not go back to it? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
From the 25 on 2nd down, Rodgers, throw left side complete. That's Jones. And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. A good-looking drive for the Packers so far. It's a 1st down. The partner is still in the 3rd quarter, but they've got this one well in hand and still airing it out with gusto and picking up some nice gains.
And even in lopsided games like this, you don't really see starters get lifted or the foot come off the gas before the 4th quarter. No one wants to leave any doubt when they're playing well. They just want to continue the process.
How about Jonathan Allen there pushing upfield to make the stop behind the line?
I have zero rooting interest in either team in this game. I only want a good game. But with all the offense we've seen from them tonight, it's kind of nice to see the defense step up and make a big play.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were ever going to get him in the backfield. Nice to see him get a stop. So 7 yards from the 1st down here as they come up to the line of scrimmage. Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down. And probably the wise decision there. No one open. He just throws it away. And that keeps the field goal on the table as it's 4th down. The kick by Crosby is good, and that will extend their lead even further. Well, they picked up right where they left off in the 1st half. First drive after the break, they come away with 3 and increase that lead.
Yeah, and you just want to keep building on that lead, don't you? Whether 6 points or 3 points, take everything you can get, keep maneuvering, keep adding to it, keep making it difficult for them to come back.
And he won't quite make it to the 25. First possession of the 2nd half now for Washington. Wentz bringing the Commanders up for 1st and 10 at their own 24. Here's Gibson to start the drive. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
He's tackled at the 29-yard line. A 6-yard pickup brings up 2nd and 4.
Once more, Gibson. And he'll earn a couple of tough yards past the 30 to the 31. Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the first. Wentz going to try and throw on 3rd. And he finds McLaurin. And he'll be taken down, but he does have 1st down yardage.
A gain of 9 yards. That's good for Washington.
On 1st and 10, it's Gibson. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down. On 2nd and 7, Wentz. That's complete to his receiver, McLaurin. And this is going to result in another 1st down as the tackle's made at the Packers' 29-yard line. Working from the gun, Wentz. That's going to be caught by Samuel. And he stopped right at the 25 after a gain of 5.
A gain of 5 brings up 2nd and 5.
Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Wentz. And he's going to go down here, a sack. They push him back to the 34. Jaron Reed muscles his way in for the sack. This defense, they just continue to feast. 5 sacks now as a unit. It's been quite an afternoon getting to the quarterback.
And we're seeing it come from a variety of places as well. Sometimes just the guys up front and getting to him. Other times you add extra guys rushing the quarterback, twists and stunts. It's been a variety, and they've had no way of blocking them.
Wentz and the Commanders staring down a 3rd and long now after that sack. Escaping the pressure right. A solid run of 11 there as he tucked it and ran, but he's still short of the marker, and it's 4th.
Joey Sly on for the Commander field goal. A 40-yard.
Sly able to put this one through, and they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit. So he missed that field goal earlier, but he says not this time. Able to knock it through, give his guys 3.
I like his poise. I like his confidence, his belief in himself. Sometimes when you miss that first one, you'll see a lot of guys sag and they can't make the next one. Not in this case. Stepped right up like a pro.
And he'll decide to not bring this one out as their drive will begin at the 25. The Green Bay offense ready to take over. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it. Forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize. Like going to the county fair, you don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material.
I'm seeing a lot of guys shaking their heads on defense right now, particularly in the secondary. And when you see that going on, that is never a good sign. But it's understandable. They've been shredded so far.
So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10. Rodgers going to give this one to Dillon. And he'll fight forward on the straight-ahead running for just a couple of yards. 2nd down.
A gain of 2 brings up 2nd and 8.
From the 41, Rodgers. And he's just going to get rid of this thing. To no one here. He throws it away. And now it's 3rd.
It's 3rd down. And 8 yards to go.
Here's Rodgers to throw. Got a man. It's Tunyon. And they're going to have another 1st down here as the tackle's made at Washington's 28. It's a gain of 12, and the Packers have the 1st. Well, up big, but still not hesitating to take some shots downfield, CD. I guess they really want to hammer home their dominance in this one.
Yeah, that much is apparent, partner. If they keep completing throws like that, they'll keep that gap awfully wide as they've established already.
Now a 1st down carry by Jones. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. Shotgun now for Rodgers. Throw right side is going to be caught by Judy. He's up now to 80 yards receiving in the ball game, and he's got a 1st down.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
Here's a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. To the right side, this is Dillon. And he's going to take it in. Touchdown, Packers. A.J. Dillon, his second rushing touchdown on the year. And the Packers extend their lead yet again. Well, on the other sideline right now, it's just absolute dejection. But, Charles, let's focus on the positive. With the lead that they built here, they've done pretty much everything to perfection in this ball game.
They certainly have. Makes me think that their week of preparation was excellent. And they flowed into this game, and it carried over. And right now, I don't expect them to back off at all. They're playing so well, they just want to keep it going.
Crosby with the extra point, and the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. Now after the touchdown, here's Crosby to kick it away. Takes it at the 7. And his guys will get the football right at the 20-yard line. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. Well, we're still in the third quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable. Now, a win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles, but I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. This is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this no matter how the game looks on paper going in. This one has turned out to be everyone's worst nightmare realized.
They'll run with Gibson. Gets around him. And some space here. And he'll go out near midfield at the 49. 66 yards for him on the ground now on 18 carries.
Outside handoff to the right side. If you're a running back, you love getting the ball early so you have vision to see what's happening in front of you.
Right tackle likes that call. Big play for him. But don't forget about the guys you always tell me on the backside sealing off.
When they talk about cutoff blocks, making sure no one can leak from the backside that can run a play down.
And nobody leaked. Big play. And he'll be brought down on the other side of midfield at the 43. To throw again on second down. Wentz. And that's incomplete. After the incompletion, here now, 3rd and 2.
Intended for Terry McLaurin. Incomplete.
Wentz going to throw. To the right side and complete to Thomas. And he's going to have a Commanders first down by a couple of yards as they're able to get 4 there on 3rd and 2. Now Wentz again. Over the middle, complete to Samuel. And they'll work this down inside the 30. Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. A give up the middle to Gibson. Down to about the 22 here. So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. Gibson again. And he'll be taken down at the 20 after a gain of just 1. They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. Wentz looking to throw on 3rd and 2. Flushed out right. And they're going to be set up now with the ball at the 13-yard line. From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. Now they'll throw it. Wentz forced out to his left. And he'll protect himself at the end here as he winds up getting pretty decent yardage. And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the third quarter has come to a close. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. From the 5, here's 2nd and 2. Throwing now is Wentz. And he's going to go down. Sacked back at the 13-yard line. Jaron Reed able to get in there for his 2nd sack of the afternoon. I don't know what else can be said about this pass rush. They have been sensational. CD, that is now 6 sacks for them.
And how many times do we talk to offensive coordinators and they say a sack is a result of everyone on offense not doing their job? But let's be honest about this one. This is the offensive line unable to counter the pass rush. They've been teeing off all game long.
Now Wentz on 3rd down. They'll set up the screen for Gibson. And he'll be brought down well short of the first at about the 9-yard line. 3 yards, all they can muster there, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Good reactions there defensively. That screen was a little slow in developing, and they shut that one down with little gain.
Now Wentz, gotta have this one. And it's caught. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. No reason not to try it there, and they do indeed convert on 4th down, trailing in the 4th quarter. They felt compelled to go for it, and they got it.
Well, I'd look down at my play sheet, and what I would find, plays have been successful throughout the game that have worked in the distance you need, and that's exactly what they got done.
Gibson is into the end zone. Touchdown, Washington. Joey Sly on for the extra point. And they make the score a little bit more respectable here in our final quarter of play. That drive, a long one, spanning 15 plays. And it ends with a 1-yard touchdown run. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line. And this offense back out and set to go for their next drive. Not that any of the points would be needed, but CD, they've got enough time left here. They can definitely score on this drive, maybe even an ensuing drive as well, if they really want to drive home this landslide victory.
Yeah, we're certainly about to see just how aggressive they want to be here down the stretch. And what some coaches do is they try and meet it halfway, meaning they want to continue to run their offense, but they'll put in a lot of backups to do it and then tell the opposing coach, hey, I had to get them some work too. I can't just let them sit over on the sidelines all the time.
Well, they'll try to jet sweep here with Lazard. And good yardage as he gets this one up to about the 23. Rodgers looking to throw on 3rd and 2. And that is incomplete. Here's Pat O'Donnell now as he's on to punt for Green Bay. Averaging 50 yards a boot so far as this one's away. That'll be a 43-yard punt, just a single yard on the return. And it will be Washington football now with a 1st and 10. And the Washington offense heading out. Well, I think that the folks here had hoped that maybe this home atmosphere would carry their guys to a surprise victory, but it does not appear that that's going to be the case. There's too much to handle on the other side in this one. Throwing again on 2nd down. Wentz, middle of the field. He's got McLaurin. Wentz finding McLaurin there for the Commanders first. Now Wentz. And Thomas has it. And they're going to get this to about the 44-yard line. On 2nd and very short, Wentz, and he drops it incomplete, and their struggles continue here. Again, it's Wentz. Completes it to Samuel. And he's going to have a Commander's first down as they're able to convert by plenty there on 3rd and 1. Now Wentz. Looking for McLaurin, and he's got him. And they're going to work this down to about the 32-yard line. Following the play now, they're going to stop the clock here as a man is shaken up. While they come out and take a look at him, we will step aside for just a moment. Four yards remain for 2nd down. Wentz now to throw. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. Now it looks like we'll get a timeout, and we will. We've got an injured Packer on the field. Hopefully, obviously nothing serious here. Medical staff, though, going to take a peek, and we'll take a break. This will be the 8th play of the drive. It's 3rd and 7. Wentz. And that's knocked away and incomplete. Wentz to throw for it on fourth. He completes this one to Terry McLaurin. And he will be taken down, but it's a big play and a conversion for Washington on fourth down. Well, no reason not to try it there, and they do indeed convert on fourth. And with this game well in hand, perhaps we are seeing the coverage lighten up a little bit as they got burned there a bit for a first down.
Well, we certainly know the coach isn't happy along the sideline because he certainly wants them to finish this one out the way they started it. He doesn't want to give up any soft completions, no late points. He wants his lead to stay right where it is.
And the Commanders are going to have a first and goal coming up as the tackle made at the 3-yard line. They'll run with Gibson. And he gets halfway there from the 4 to the 2 on a gain of 2. 2 of their 3 red zone trips so far they've come up empty on. They'll look to reverse that trend on second and goal. And he is into the end zone for a Washington touchdown. Carson Wentz taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Commanders get a small measure of revenge as they cut into this fourth quarter deficit. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This fielded right at the goal line. And no alley to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. Well, the win for them at this point seems pretty assured. I mean, still a decent amount of time left here in the fourth quarter, Charles, but you got the football. You're up 3 scores. They have to be feeling really good about where they're at.
I love your observation skills, partner, because I think you saw them charge onto the field fired up about another chance to get into the end zone. Looks to me like this group is ready to crush any hope left on the opposing sideline, and they want to do it with some gusto, too.
This defense starting to buckle down when they need to, and right now they're winning this fourth quarter, losing the game, but they're winning in the fourth quarter.
And what a fine line it is about what they're trying to get done, because they're down, so they obviously need the football, need a score, but they can't be so aggressive as to give up their edge, their gaps, and have the offense hit them with a big play.
Now a third down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete. Here's Pat O'Donnell now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. Taken from just outside the 30. They'll call this a 41-yard punt, 7 on the return. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. The time again to see Terry McLaurin in the Washington offense. Seems like the measuring stick for a receiver for a great game is 100 yards. Well, he's well past that now.
And as we analyze how he's getting them, that's where it really becomes fun because, let's face it, they keep sending coverage at him, keep trying to put the pressure on, yet he finds ways downfield and finds openings. That's a really crafty receiver.
The catch and run, good for 18 and a first down. A 3-score game here late. You can probably rule out the comeback, but certainly some kind of a moral victory to be had if they can get a few more points to close things out. And to that end, a nice pass play there to push things downfield.
Yeah, and we know in this league, a loss is a loss, and no one wants anything to count as a moral victory or, boy, something that feels a little bit cheap. But if they trim that lead down to just 2 scores, that's still a benefit to this squad.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Wentz. This one left side caught by Gibson. And they're going to get this down to about the 37. Wentz going to try and throw on 3rd. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. Wentz going to go on 4th down. It's complete. Swings it out to his running back. But he will be stopped behind the line as he will not come close to the marker. Ron Rivera, the gambling type, but he comes up empty here. And the Packers D comes up with a big stop. Well, they were 2 for 3 on fourth down tries. Now they're unsuccessful. That brings them down to 50%.
But that's a percentage you have to feel pretty good about. You know, 2 for 4, 2 for 3 before that. They finally get stopped again. That's okay. That's the type of team that'll keep pressing. In this situation, they'll continue to go for it.
They'll begin the drive with a run by Dillon. And he takes this up right near the 45-yard line. The first down run got 5. Here's 2nd and 5. And right side, they're going to go option here. And he is going to lose yardage here. This will be a loss of 3, and now a much tougher third down looming. And not a lot of success to be found there.
Oh, you got that right, partner, because if you're trying to make guys miss about 10 yards or so downfield, that's a pretty good play. But if you've got to do it in your own backfield, I consider that a problem. That doesn't work too well.
Throwing is Rodgers on third down. And able to catch it on the left sideline, but they're going to rule him out of bounds. So it'll be incomplete. Certainly one they'd like to have back as it brings up fourth down. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And he didn't quite have the backspin on that one. It hits at the 4 and continues into the end zone. It's a touchback. The Commanders' offense returning to the field. Their mini 2-game win streak appears it might be going by the wayside unless they can pull a rabbit out of their hat. Wentz bringing the Commanders up for 1st and 10 at the 20. To throw is Wentz. He's going to drop this one down to Gibson. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. Nice way to start the drive. A gain of 12 and a first down.
Well, I can put my defensive cap on right now, and I know they're saying don't give up any big plays now. They've controlled this game throughout, and all they want to do is see it through to the end. I think they let their guard down a little bit with that last completion. Sometimes when you're trying not to give up bigger plays, you don't react as fast as you should on other throws.
Meanwhile, Wentz is thrown into the hands of McLaurin. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. It's a first down for Washington on a pickup of 11. Well, those are the types of plays they probably wish they had made more of in the first 3 quarters. And this deficit going to be tough to overcome here in the 4th. But a nice first down and a pickup on that throw.
Yeah, and this is where as coaches, you're looking for effort and execution, even though the scoreboard is going against you. You want to find out who's going to fight, who's going to scrap, who's going to keep their heads up and continue to play.
From midfield, here's Wentz. Again, he'll find Samuel for the completion. And he'll be brought down on the other side of midfield at the 43. On first down, Wentz. That's complete to his receiver, McLaurin. And they're going to get this down to about the 37.
It's the pickup of 6. Brings up 2nd and 4.
Now Wentz again. This pass hauled in by Dotson. And they're going to work this down to about the 32-yard line.
A 5-yard gain on the play. That's another Washington.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Throwing now is Wentz. Going right back to Dotson. And they're going to get this down to about the 17-yard line here. Charles, he's now over 400 yards passing in this one. It feels like he has a zillion completions. Just a very memorable effort from a guy that we thought could be in line for a big game, and he has exceeded our expectation.
That he has, and I'm not really surprised at all because when you look at this offensive unit, they are loaded across the board. And, of course, the guy throwing them, he's a big-time player himself. They brought it from start to finish and really helped get the better of the opposing secondary.
Flush to his right. And the ball is knocked out, and the Packers pick it up.
Wentz on the keeper. Hold on the play. Recovered by Green Bay.
And I don't know that that fumble is going to matter a whole lot. You look at the deficit here in the fourth. It doesn't matter. The coach on the sideline still scratching his head.
Yeah, not only scratching his head, but probably writing a note or two about we're going to address this come practice next week because maybe that's the reason we're down this far. Doesn't matter at this point, but being sloppy throughout the game, not going to help him improve.
The drive starts with a carry by Dillon. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
With his size, he's a tough man to bring down, but they do a nice job there stopping his progress and not allowing him to get back to the line of scrimmage.
On 2nd down, another run for Dillon. And not a whole lot to speak of there as they'll bring him down shy of the 20. On 3rd down, here's Jones. And he's going to get this to about the 20, but that is well short of what he needed. Just a 1-yard pickup there, and it'll be 4th down.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
Here's Pat O'Donnell now as they're forced to kick for the 6th time today. Bulldozes past him, and he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. That'll go as a 46-yard punt with a return of 7, and out will come the offense as they take over. So good starting field position for him here as they come up 1st and 10 at their 38. Working from the gun, Wentz. And my goodness, another interception. Adrian Amos with a pick. And the Packers are going to have the short field here as they'll take over right at the 50. Well, there's two sides to this coin. I mean, on one side, 5 interceptions now thrown for him. That's tough. But, man, this defense, they have been ball hawking and impressive. But, Charles, let's flip it back over. If you're coaching a quarterback that's struggling this much at this stage of the game, do you maybe try to get him out?
I would think about it, and I think about it awfully hard, but also you might want to look into his eyes, see what he has. He might be one of those players that you don't want to affect his confidence by actually pulling him out of the game. So you have to know your player, you have to know the situation.
And just 1 yard here from the 49 to the 50. Charles, a lot of happy faces heading into the tunnel as this one ends, and understandably so. Not only did they get the win, but, boy, their offense was on fire in this ball game.
And, partner, I have no idea what the top speed is on one of those high-end sports cars. What's the top gear you can get into? This offense, they certainly were there in this one, huh? Everything clicking for them in this contest, the kind of performance that they're going to cherish.
So for Green Bay, their winning ways continue as they get it up to 7-0. And they'll get another road test next week as they head to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Meanwhile, for Washington, they fall a game under the 500 mark at 3-4 through 7 games. And they'll try to get back to their winning ways next week as they head to Indianapolis to take on the Colts.